that start with "You were in my dream last night" excite me because it's like a telegram from the spirit world written in cipher. On January 17th at 1:48, I received this text from a friend.
I had a dream of you riding a horse on the rooftops of the city. Yeah, you're pretty good at it. There was a big fence stopping you from going to Nebraska, but I think that's a reference from a TV show.
This painting is my attempt at decoding her dream and unpacking some of the symbols. Coincidentally, at the time, I was reading about the wind horse in Barbara Tedlock's book, The Woman as Shaman. No, it's not. Sorry, it's called The Woman in the Shaman's Body. The wind horse can be seen as an intercessor to the spirit world. In Mongolian mythology, this takes the form of the wind horse known as Himor. Himor is also the word for a person's soul. The horse symbolizes the material form and the wind symbolizes the ethereal form. The drum, often used by shamans in Mongolia, is made of horsehide, and this is a signifier for the mount that carries the invoked spirit to the shaman. In Tibet, the wind horse appears as Lungta and is also seen as an allegory for a person's soul. The Lungta adorns Tibetan prayer flags, assisting in the manifestation of your dreams. They are typically tied in high places so that the wind can blow through them and help carry your dreams. I based my initial sketch off of an old porcelain model and then filled the rest in. To show the connection between the physical and invisible planes, I included a ribbon that floats in the wind above her head. This was in part inspired by a quote from the same book by Barbara Tedlock, where she is visiting her friend Bayar Odan, a female shaman in Mongolia. Barbara noticed that Bayar Odan would knot silk ribbons and cloths from her client's clothing onto hers. The meaning of this, according to the Mongolian logic of symbols, was if shamans travel to the world of the spirits, then the souls of their clients need to be tied to their gowns with knots so that they do not fall off during the long celestial journey. I start my paintings by hammering gessoed linen into the wall. I'm not sure if that's advisable, but it works for me. To start my underpainting, I will mix up an earthy tone that will blend easily when I go over it. Sometimes I like to paint the whole canvas in an undertone, but for this one I just got right into it. My medium is comprised of 1 part retouch varnish and 1 part linseed oil, and then in the other well I have turpentine, which is used for like cleaning off your brush or thinning out the medium and thinning out your paints. For this painting I used a boar bristle brush mainly, which looks like this. It's a bit more coarse, which helps create looser and disconnected brush strokes. This painting is not in any way hyper realistic, so I wasn't concerned about accuracy really, and was just kind of going off of my intuition and trying not to overthink things. The choice to paint the horse blue was based on the Blau Reiter movement, founded by Franz Marc and Vasily Kandinsky in 1912. They founded the movement with a desire to express the spiritual values in their work. Der Blau Reiter translates to the Blue Rider, and the pair settled on this name due to Kandinsky's belief that the color blue is a deeply soulful color, and also their shared love of horses, among other reasons. In Kandinsky's treatise titled On the Spiritual in Art, he discussed how art should not be seen as a mere imitation of reality, but rather as a way of conveying inner and non-material truths. Colors played an important role in doing so, as each was comprised of their own unique, emotive, and resonant properties. Blue in particular held great significance for Kandinsky. He writes, "The deeper the blue becomes, the more strongly it calls man towards the infinite, awakening in him desire for the pure, and finally for the supernatural. For Kandinsky, the use of the horse and rider motif symbolized his crusade against conventional aesthetic values and his dream for a better, more spiritual future through the transformative powers in art. The horse and the rider existing as a symbol for moving beyond realistic representation. Kandinsky is quoted in his 1913 complete writings on art that the horse carries the rider quickly and sturdily. The rider, however, guides the horse. The artist's talent carries him to great heights quickly and sturdily. The artist, however, guides his talent. The horse also plays a prominent role in Marx's work, which centers animals as symbols of rebirth, spiritual renewal, and inner peace. The idea of painting a dawn-colored sky was in part a reference to the goddess Eos. Eos is the goddess and personification of dawn who rose each morning from her home at the edge of the river Oceanus to deliver light and disperse the night on her horse-driven chariot. I considered painting two amphora at the top of the canvas with stars still spilling out of them as another reference to Eos, but instead I settled on these eye comet things that were in the original sketch that I did. To bring in Eos also ties in very well with me, as Eos's Slavic equivalent is the goddess Zora, the personification of dawn and the morning star, and importantly, my namesake. Overall, this painting took me about 8 to 10 hours, start to finish, over the course of 2 months, thanks to lots of other distractions and other projects. The black border will probably be hidden once I get it stretched and framed, and it will kind of act as its own framing device. And then the only thing that's left is to varnish it when it's dry, and then it's done.